Good day, friends. I'm Dr. Ishtiaq Ahmed. Some friends, all the way from Australia to anywhere in the world, have been writing to me in the last 2 days, pointing out a video talk given by Mr. Hamid Mir on the partition, the creation of Pakistan, the role of Gandhi, Nehru, Mountbatten, and above all, Muhammad Ali Jinnah. And of course, he has given his own interpretation. He's tried to look for answers to some issues which were unclear, and he says he has found the answers. Well, that's what we are all out to do, to look at the material and see what sort of plausible answers we can derive from the facts on the ground. So what I'm going to do is, it's a very long video talk he has given with a lot of sincerity, I think. So I'm not going to sort of respond to everything he has said in one video. In this first video, I take up about 10 minutes of his talk, 10, 11 such minutes of his talk. And his video talk I'll attach every time I make a video based on his talk given on his YouTube. So the first question he takes up, not the question, the first thing he underlines, he underscores is that Muhammad Ali Jinnah withstood the pressure of the Indian National Congress not to have India partitioned to create Pakistan. He even gives the example of Gandhi, and that thing is quoted, and it is too well known for me to talk about it. I have given many examples of it. That Gandhi wanted Jinnah to become the Prime Minister of a united India, and Muhammad Ali Jinnah, the founder of Pakistan, resisted it. Jinnah wanted Pakistan at all costs. The British, according to Hamid Mir, didn't want Pakistan come into being. They sent Mountbatten also to prevent Pakistan coming into being, and yet Pakistan was achieved by Muhammad Ali Jinnah. Well, in the first 10, 12 minutes, I deal with the initial things he has said, and I would say I agree with him completely. He mentions that he has read a lot of books, shown the titles of some, but I can bet my life he has read my book on Jinnah. My book is not referred to. So the authority of the book itself is acknowledged by not referring to it. Otherwise, it should have been attacked if I had said something which was contrary to the facts. But anyhow, so I would say that Hamid Mir is absolutely right. The Indian National Congress was determined to keep India united. They did not want the partition of India to create Pakistan. That's what I have also demonstrated over 808 pages. And this journey of Jinnah begins in 1937, not before that. That has to be kept into mind. Once Jinnah decided that he wanted India partition and Pakistan created, he relentlessly pursued that goal. And so what Hamid Mir Sahib is saying is absolutely correct. I have no objection to his conclusion. The second thing, about Mountbatten, we'll deal with that as we go along with this talk, because those things come back again later on. The second thing which he took up is that Pakistan decided to have 14th August as its Independence Day, whereas India is stuck with the 15th of August. And Mr. Hamid Mir has a problem with that. The problem is that Mountbatten, when he decided for the 15th of December as the date of transfer of power to India and Pakistan, the reason was that that's the day on which the Japanese surrendered to the Allied forces. The armistice was signed. And the way Hamid Mir argues, if I understand him correctly, Pakistan decided 14th August because it's not the day on which, he doesn't say this, but I think this is the implication, on which Japan surrendered, but a day earlier. Well, the facts are like this. The British had decided to transfer power to Indians. The original date was June 1948. This is in the statement given by British Prime Minister Clementine Attlee, sorry, where he says that Britain will transfer power on the 20th this was issued on the 20th of February 1947, that by June 1948 we will transfer power to Indians. This is true. And once this date was announced, it is, of course, Mountbatten, we'll come to that later, who, on his own, after consultation with the British high-ups, brought the date forward from June 1948 to mid-August 1947. That is much earlier than the original date. But the 14th, 15th August, what is the mystery about it? You see, the actual transfer of power from the British to the dominion of Pakistan and India takes place on the 15th of August. On the 15th of August. And not on the 14th of August. But Mountbatten, once the partition thing had been agreed, had to take part in the formal independence ceremony of Pakistan as well as of India. So it was decided by mutual consultation that Pakistan will celebrate it on the 14th of August. Lady Mountbatten and Lord Mountbatten, as representatives of His Majesty the British King, were there to inaugurate the Pakistan Constituent Assembly. And the speeches given there, even one day earlier at the banquet on the 13th, if you listen to what was said there, Jinnah Saab waxes eloquence in praising Mountbatten for agreeing to the creation of Pakistan. So at least on this formal occasion, there is no protest. There is a lot of praise for Mountbatten by Jinnah. Because the truth is that it's only when Mountbatten comes that the idea of Pakistan is granted by the British. We'll come to that later. It's too early to take up that issue. So on the 14th of August, Lord and Lady Mountbatten take part in the inauguration of the Pakistan Constituent Assembly. And then in the afternoon, they fly to Delhi, where at 0 hour, when 14th and 15th August change, 14th becomes 15th, that's when Jawaharlal Nehru's famous speech, tryst with history at this hour when the world sleeps, and so on. So it's as simple as that. Mountbatten had to take part in both the independence celebrations, because two dominions were created out of British India, Pakistan and India. Now, Mr. Hamid Mir main point is, and he refers to something which BJP former minister Jaswant Singh has taken up in his book, that 15th August was chosen by Mountbatten because on that day the Japanese were defeated. Well, first of all, the decision of the 15th of August was Mountbatten and that of his high-ups, the British government. So you can't blame the Congress or the Muslim League for what happened. This was the date decided by Mountbatten. But what is the big protest about the 15th of August being the date Mountbatten chooses for the transfer of power? Of course, it was Allied victory over Japan, with whom they had fought a bloody war. And remember, this thing that Japan is Asian and so on is actually a very superficial level of looking at facts. Just as Nazi Germany and fascist Italy had unleashed a, a bloodbath on Western Europe, Central Europe, and Eastern Europe into the Soviet Union. In the 4 years of the war, 50 million people were killed in the European or in the Western theater, largely because of a war started by Nazi Germany, which believed in the supremacy of the Aryan race over the rest of the world, and by Mussolini, who uh, jumped onto the bandwagon. And in Asia, the Japanese became allies of the Axis forces against the Allied forces. And while the war in Europe ended by May, I think, 1945, the Japanese kept on fighting, kept on fighting. And then on in August, I think 9th and 14th or 12th, the Americans dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, killing about 300,000 people by these two bombs. A great tragedy, great suffering inflicted on the Japanese people by the Americans. Why did they do it? I have an explanation for that. And I hope my friend Hamid Mir'S does look at my book, Pakistan, the Garrison State, where I explain why. But coming back to it, what were the Japanese doing in Asia? An Asian power, what did it do to Asians? Japanese militarism, expansionism was as evil as Nazi Germany and Mussolini's expansionism and war uh, uh, on Europe. Anywhere between 20 to 30 million Chinese, Koreans, and Burmese people in Singapore were killed by the Japanese. The Japanese war machine was terrible. The atrocities it committed on hapless people, on POWs, are notoriously well known. So there is no reason to feel sorry for the Japanese being defeated. They had killed anywhere between 20 to 30 million Asians from 1931 onwards, actually, even earlier. Manchurians we have to include as well. I would suggest my friend Hamid Mir to just consult the Chinese, who are very good friends of ours. What do they think about the Japanese occupation of China? Only in one city, I think Nanjing, this is in a matter of 2-3 days. 300 people were killed civilians and POWs, prisoners of wars, just in one city. And all over China, and then talk to any Korean. They still have a case against the rape of Korean women by the Japanese. So the British celebrating uh, a victory over Japan is perfectly understandable. We need not rejoice in it, and we need not regret that either. It has nothing to do with us. It's that thousands of British soldiers were killed by the Japanese. Singapore, and when the war was fought in Southeast Asia. It's too well known. So, Mr. Hamid Mir wants India to rethink if 15th August is the right day to celebrate the independence of India. I don't think that is any argument at all, because that's the day Mountbatten and the British had decided, and Pakistan decided for 14th of August much later. For the first 2 years, and Hamid Mir kindly also showed a stamp issued by Pakistan celebrating the 15th of August as Pakistan Independence Day. In my book on Jinnah, his successes, failures, and role in history, I refer to Muhammad Ali Jinnah's speech saying that 15th August is when we became independent. And as we learn, it is after uh, Muhammad Ali Jinnah was dead and gone that the government of Liaquat Ali Khan, or maybe a bit earlier, had decided to move the Independence Day to 14th of August. So simply Pakistan wanted to be different from India. That's all. And they relied on a fact that the celebration for Pakistan's independence, the formal celebrations, were on the 14th of August. But very interesting, who was the governor in Karachi when Muhammad Ali Jinnah and the rest went to the Constituent Assembly to celebrate Pakistan's inauguration as an independent nation? It was Sir Francis Moody, the British governor. In Lahore, it was Sir Evan Jenkins. In my book on the Punjab partition, I give the last telegram he sent to the Viceroy from Lahore to Delhi. It is at 10:30 in the night. An hour and a half later, when 14th August ended and it became 15th August, British rule ended. Similarly, in the same was true everywhere else. So I don't see what is the big deal about Pakistan making the 14th of August and the Indians retaining the 15th of August. What should they do? Should they start celebrating the 14th of August? Why? What's the point? The 15th of August is the actual day of the transfer of power by the British to the independent dominions of Pakistan and India. On the 14th, the formal ceremony was celebrated in Delhi with the representative of the King Emperor of Britain there, while the governor of Sindh was Sir Francis Moody, an Englishman. So were all the police officers and so on. So I'll stop here. What I've said here is that absolutely Hamid Mir is speaking the truth. All honest research shows that Jinnah wanted the partition of India to create Pakistan. And the Congress did try. Actually, I referred to another book by Professor Farooq Ahmed Dar on Jinnah, where he gives 4 examples of not only Gandhi but also others trying to woo Jinnah not to go for the partition of India and to keep India united, and that he could become the prime minister. I have even given another example. During the cabinet mission plan, cabinet mission discussions with Indian leaders, at one point, Gandhi told the cabinet mission delegation that Mr. Jinnah can become the Prime Minister of India. He can choose his ministers from among the Congress and the Muslim League, or if he wants, he can just have a Muslim League ministry for the whole of India. But he should not go for the partition of India. Now, the thing is, this, this is when Wavell was the Viceroy of India. So, what is the truth? Wavell said that I will not have Jinnah as the Prime Minister under any circumstance. The 1935 Act empowers the Governor General to decide the fate of India. And as long as the 1935 Act existed, there was no place for a Prime Minister. So he will preside, and Jinnah Saab can only become the leading minister, foreign minister or something, but he will preside over the cabinet meetings. It's all on record. I've given that. Now, the thing is, to say that Gandhi, Nehru, and the rest, the Congress party, did not want the partition of India, and Jinnah wanted the partition of India to create Pakistan. While from the Pakistani point of view, we can understand Jinnah's standpoint. But what is wrong with the Congress and the Indian leaders not wanting the partition of India? After all, India was one country ruled by the British for almost a century, and all its institutions, its framework, the transportation, the waterworks, the economy, the traveling of people, all had been united during this period. And so India was conceived as one indivisible country. It's the same now. We have Pakistan. And of course, there are some forces who want to break up Pakistan. There is a demand in Balochistan. BLA wants to create an independent Balochistan. I keep hearing from the KP areas also, a Pakhtunistan movement or something to unite with Afghanistan. But there are people in Pakistan who want to keep Pakistan united. If the Baloch and the Pakhtun have a right to decide that they want to break up Pakistan, those who want to keep Pakistan united are equally justified. So I don't understand if Gandhi and Nehru and Patel and Maulana Azad and the rest were resisting the partition of India. And they even offered Muhammad Ali Jinnah the office of Prime Minister of a united India. Why should that be held against them? They wanted to keep that country united. I've given the example of Pakistan, and I hope this comparative way of looking at facts is also appreciated. We tend to just have a one-sided approach on things, and that leads to self-righteous argumentation. The argument should look at all angles to an issue or to a problem. That's the scientific way of coming to a plausible, reasonable conclusion. So I would say, absolutely correct. Jinnah wanted India to be partitioned to create Pakistan. By the way, this also explodes the fraudulent thesis which among some leftists has been sort of very popular, that Jinnah didn't want partition. He wanted a power sharing deal. And it's the Congress which forced partition on Jinnah. That is absolute trash. It has no backing in facts, and the facts are in abundance. In my book on Jinnah, I have leveraged all important speeches, statements, and Jinnah, which incontrovertibly underlined that India should be partitioned to create Pakistan. Otherwise, India will not be free. This is his argument. So, friends, I will just deal with the first 10, 12 minutes of Hamid Mir's uh, video talk, and I'll take one by one what he has said. There are many points on which we agree, and I think it's more of a matter of interpretation. We have to look at all sides to an issue. Just looking at this is self-righteous to say Gandhi, Nehru were opposed to Pakistan. Of course, like we are opposed to the breakup of Pakistan, and there are some who want to break up Pakistan. Both positions are there. Similarly, there were two positions. The role of Mountbatten, the role of the British, will take up later. Thank you very much. All the best.